At Saunders and Turner, we get a lot of questions about Chapter 7 bankruptcy. If you're considering Chapter 7, which is named after the chapter in the U.S. Bankruptcy Code, it just happens to be Chapter 7. If you're considering that, you're not alone. There are millions of people that have filed and are filing Chapter 7 bankruptcy. Chapter 7 is known as the total forgiveness, the discharge bankruptcy, which discharge is the legal term for forgiven. You're being forgiven of all your unsecured debt. And what that means, unsecured debt would be promissory notes, credit cards, debt to anyone that is not secured by a physical object, like a house or a car, a boat, a trailer, an RV, quads, motorcycles. Even a timeshare is a secured property because it's secured by that property, even though you only have a 1/52nd interest or whatever it is. So unsecured credit can be forgiven to where you may owe thousands upon thousands of dollars on credit card bills or medical bills. If you qualify for Chapter 7, then as we go into the bankruptcy court, we file a petition that is asking the court to forgive these unsecured debts for the reason that you're insolvent. Your debt is higher than you can service. And because of that question, there's a so-called means test. In 2005, some of the bankruptcy laws changed, and Congress put in a means test where you can only make a certain amount of money according to how many people live in your home according to the county that you live in. And we're familiar with all of these thresholds of the means test, and so we can quickly look at your gross income, if you have operations from a business, what you pay in medical bills, what your family budget is, if you have special needs people in your family. There's a myriad of issues that go into seeing if you qualify for a Chapter 7. And when you do, then we file the petition, and then somewhere between 30 and 45 days later, you're in front of a trustee being examined. And all that means is the trustee, who sits in between you and the bankruptcy court and your creditors, will ask some questions. They'll ask, did you read your petition? Did you put in all your assets? Did you put in all your debts? They'll look at your Social Security card and your driver's license to fully identify you. They'll ask you if you've transferred any assets in the last 1 year, maybe even 3 years. They can go back that far. They will ask if you have any stocks or bonds, if anything is materially going to change in your life financially in the next little while. So if between the time you filed bankruptcy and you won the lottery, you're probably not going to be able to go bankrupt. But normally people that file bankruptcy make it through bankruptcy, especially if you've got competent counsel. We've looked at all your documents, we've asked you all the right questions, we've filled out all the forms and petitioned the court that you should be discharged of all your debt. It's time for a reset button. It's time for a fresh start. And if you're like most, and I tell this to all our clients, you never thought you would even consider this. You're watching this video now and you never even thought you would think about bankruptcy. And here you are on the verge of filing bankruptcy. Our founding fathers knew about bankruptcy. They had it in the system. In fact, bankruptcy goes back to the Old Testament times, where every 7 years it was called the Year of Jubilee, where you would forgive anyone that owed you money. You would forgive their debt. We don't quite do that now, but it's curious that now you can file bankruptcy once every 8 years. If you file a Chapter 7, you have to wait 8 years to file another one. There's some tradition there. As a society, we want to help each other. We want to give a hand up. And so if you're in over your head, and if you are just paying the minimums on your credit cards every month, and at the end of the month you've barely got enough for groceries, or if you've stopped making the minimum payments and creditors are calling you and threatening to sue, it's probably time to consider bankruptcy and hopefully Chapter 7, where you get the total forgiveness. It's unique to each person. We'll go through with it with all your numbers, all your situation, and fairly quickly. 15 minutes to a half hour, we can go through everything. We like to do it in person. We can do it over the phone if you can't get in, if there's special needs. But if you're considering Chapter 7, you're not alone. There are millions of people that have done it and are filing Chapter 7. And as a society, we do want to help each other. I would swallow the bitter pill if it's right for you. And we'll tell you that it may be debt settlement you need, or it may be a defense of lawsuits, and that you shouldn't file a 7. And we'll be upfront with you on that.